DVC Vikings Coach's Corner. And now your host, Anthony Perry.
What's going on, guys? This is Anthony Perry with another video of Coach's Corner. I am joined by Coach Darr, the head football coach of Diablo Valley College. Coach, how are you doing this morning?
Doing well. Getting ready for Sierra College.
Good. And yeah, we can kind of jump into that real quick. You guys just had a game that was rescheduled this past Monday, and you guys are jumping into another game already on Saturday. How's that quick turnaround been so far?
It's been a great lesson for the guys. It's been a great opportunity for the guys. It's one of the things we've been talking about through all that's been going on over the last, year and a half, 2 years is, let's take these challenges and let's turn them into opportunities. And the guys been responding really well. Tough one the other night. We turned the ball over and ended up coming in second, but short week, it's almost good. Kind of get that one behind us and moving on to the next challenge. It is a challenge coming up here on Saturday.
And I mean, still 42-33, it's not a bad score. You guys were scoring points. It's just like an NFL game. Sometimes turnovers can be the difference. Going through practice this week, has that kind of just been the focus with turnovers, or just kind of sticking to what you guys normally do?
Yeah, it's a big thing that we talk about every week, and really hitting it this week is, it's about details. And, as young men come up from high school into college, the game is more complex, the game's faster, the game is more physical. And so being able to execute while you're, flying around at 100 miles an hour, you've got to pay attention to those details. And we let a couple of those slip. I mean, when you looked at the stats, you'd think that we won by 30. We doubled their yards, doubled their first downs, held them to a low number, for their offense. But, you can't play a college football game and have 3 turnovers and have a field goal blocked and expect to win,
Moving on from the loss just a bit, you guys have been playing very well this season. Kind of just looking at the stats of your roster and looking at some games also, you guys have played a pretty balanced approach. I would say the run game, Jason Wade has been kind of the lead back, but even then you guys have other running backs on the team that have also held the responsibility and have done well also. Looking at the offense so far, have you guys just really maintained a balanced approach? Because it seems like everyone on the team has been able to do a job and succeed.
It's been, from the staff to the players, they've all done a real good job of understanding, we're all going to get an opportunity to make a difference, for each other. And, for the most part, guys have been locked in on that. And when their numbers gotten called, they've stepped up and made plays.
You talk about working with a young team so far. Has that affected any way how you coach, how you go about the game plan, or have you been able to kind of stick with what you really know and kind of just tweak things going down the road?
Yeah, that's a great question. Especially for us here at DVC, we play a lot of teams. Like this team we just played, College of Sequoias. I think they had about 15 kids from California on their roster. They recruit the whole nation, and so because of that, they stay fairly simple. Guys come in late. They show up in July, something like that, and they don't throw a lot at them because they don't have them for very long. And with us, we're mostly local kids. We have one young man that came out from Massachusetts. He had friends out here. A kid that played at Ignacio Valley moved back there. They became friends. He moved back here. Hey, come on out. So, he's the one out of state kid that we have. So our kids are mostly local, and these guys did an unbelievable job through COVID. I mean, we had. We put together outdoor weight rooms, and they were in groups of 11 and, in their mass. And so for 18 months, as much as they're young, we've been throwing a lot of things at them. And, because we're always a local team, we get a lot out of spring football, a lot out of summer football, and our both our offense and our defense we're fairly complex, and most we do more than just about everybody. Again, with this group, a lot of focused young men that they haven't missed a day since last March, and jumped on Zoom meetings before we were allowed to come back on campus. No matter what the protocol was, they were there. Once they did allow us on, And because of that, we've been able to kind of, business as usual for us. While a lot of other teams are a little bit behind, we've been able to keep heading forward and, doing the things that have made us successful through the years.
You talk about complexity with both the offense and the defense. And just to throw out some examples, you look at offenses in the NFL like Kyle Shanahan, and that's not just because you see Niners back, but this is
I'm a Niners guy too.
You look at his offense and you see that it's more than just play action and dropping back. A lot of the receivers in that offense have all types of choice routes they can run. And the same thing with the defense too, is if you're a cornerback, do you want to drop into palms? Do you want to play a hook? It just all depends on what's going on with the play. So when you talk about complexity and then you mix it in with young players, do you have to kind of just take a little bit of a step back to make sure your guys are getting it, or is it just extra time in the film room?
It's extra time in the film room. It's, again, incredible focus throughout the week. It's, putting a lot of plays in practice on film so that we can get into the meetings and make sure that guys are executing things. There's an old thought in coaching that, well, we want to keep it simple so they can play fast. But, we've been one of the fastest teams. There's been a lot of years, our good years, we're fast. And this year's no exception. Every team we've lined up against has talked about the team speed, on both sides of the ball. We've got some playmakers on offense that if someone makes a mistake, they're going to make them pay. And you can see with the points and the yards and all the stuff we're putting up. And defensively, this is, we've led the state in defense a lot of years. Coach Hall and I, our linebacker coach, we've been together. I played for him back in 80, 88 and 89. Yes, I'm old. And we, we've been together coaching since 1996. And again, we've led the state in defense a lot of times. And this is by far our fastest defense. This group flies. And that being said, we do more than anyone else. So to me, it's just a matter of what are you willing to put in as a coach and as a player. If you're willing to put the hours in huddle, watching film, if you're able to as a coach, not let down and stay locked in and notice the details that are getting missed, get that across to the guys. If they're willing to be coachable and take that coaching and understand that what I did in high school worked because I was just better than the people that I lined up against, as opposed to, coming up here where everybody's big and fast and strong. And like I said, this has been a really, really fun group to work with because they are just give me more. For the most part, these guys are just locked in and flying around. So it's been fun. It's going to get even more fun down the road.
And just to kind of touch on one more thing, you talked about how athleticism in high school can translate to football, or to college, but it doesn't necessarily translate on the field. You look at guys going from college to the NFL, and you can name receivers who run a 4.2 or 4.3, and speed can translate, but sometimes traits don't. And that's why film study is so important, because you really want these guys to grasp and understand the playbook, grasp and understand everything going on, because you got to be a bookworm when it comes to football. So when you have these guys just putting in the extra effort to really learn, and you have such a young team, what's the atmosphere been like throughout the entire team?
I'll tell you, we've got some fantastic leaders that, the culture of this crew is one that's really special. And again, we've had years where we've led the state in offense, years where we've led the state in defense. And we look back at those years, and there was always, not just one guy, not just the guy that, gets the break or is the loudest during warmups or any of that stuff. But there's always a core of guys that just won't settle for things not being right. They're going to hold each other accountable. They're going to hold themselves accountable. And it's been, it's what this group has done. It's rare that that I have to be the one as a head coach, kind of straightening someone's attitude out or someone's focus out, or that's what unfortunately a lot of people think coaching is, and the number of people that I've met through you're a football. Oh man. Yeah. So you get on those guys, you're yelling at them, right? You must really, and all of our best teams, that's never the case, and really with most teams, sometimes you got to get guys back in line when they start a little bit too much laughing and joking, but there's no scholarships here. These guys are putting in unbelievable hours. Just the work they put in. I want them having fun, but they got to be able to lock in when it's time to lock in. It's business time. It's business. And this has been a great group. And again, a group of guys that's all they're going to accept. That's all they're going to accept. And it's always a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun because they're doing it the right way.
Coach, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate you on this another edition of Coach's Corner. As always, go Vikings.
All right. Thank you, Anthony.